Good morning, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. I am really excited about today's episode. I got a special guest with me, Diana, with the retreat at Costa Rica. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't happen to be in Costa Rica right now, but if I was, it would be even greater.
Hey, that's okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why you should go to the retreat in Costa Rica and everything that's going on. But before we get to that, I always like to start my podcast with letting our listeners know a little bit about who we're talking to and why you're on here. So tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how you kind of got to where you are with the property.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a long story. I was born and no, just kidding. No, my life was actually riddled with a lot of, issues, health issues. So
Mhm.
I dedicated at least 20 years to figuring out what the problems were. And as of course, I discovered all that. It was emotional as well as physical and spiritual. And so I was so blessed to be able to work on myself. And I became the home base in my home in the Bay Area in California, where people would come. The mothers would drop their kids off at school. They would come to my house. We would do transformational workshops. Not even It was like we just did them. They were just casual. I would make food. We would bring massage therapists in. We'd do some yoga, and it became like, oh, this is it. This is what we want. And so at one point, someone said, why don't you open a center? And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this in Thailand. Thailand was my choice because it embodied everything that I was studying. And so I thought, okay, this is great. Well, at the time I was married, and it was like, no, that's not going to work because we have, a life, and I don't want you to be gone. Yeah. And of course, you don't think about the time it takes. I love when people come to my hotel and they're like, I'm going to open a center someday. And I'm like, yeah, right. You think it's a lot of work, but I embarked on this property. It kind of was handed to me through a friend who was in distress, who needed it to be bought, and I bought it sight unseen, and just started implementing all of my teachings. I was a Kundalini teacher. I was a life coach, spirit coach. I'm a chef. I'm a raw food chef. I've written 15 books on health and wellness. And I said, we're just going to put it all into this space and allow people to do their transformational healing at will. And the other idea was retreats are, the retreat is overused right now. Retreat is literally leaving your space and going somewhere, right? Correct. It's literally like, I'm going to book a week to get out of and retreat from my life. So I thought, okay, so the retreat, called the retreat, is 24/7, 365 days a year. Anytime you want to go, it could be for 4 days, it could be for 21 days. You can do whatever, and it's always there for you. Wow. And it's what's cool about it. It's like built on a crystal mountain, and I always say it's like these hands that hold you. So anyway, I just started building, and I went to Cornell. I have a degree with hotel restaurant management, but that was like 900 years ago that happened. And so I really don't know what I was doing. I just knew the design work. And you want to know about me? I discovered me when I was probably in my late 30s, and it was on the Bay of Bengal in India. And I was at this beautiful resort, and this friend asked me, and he was deep in his spiritual work. He says, what's your life purpose? And I was like, whoa, okay, what's my life purpose? And I said, you know what? To heal people through food and love. And if I could say how Moses parted the Red Sea, it would have been that description. Like the clouds opened for me, the sun, God's presence shined on me. I mean, it was like all this, and my life transformed from there on, and it became this mission. And it was so weird because it was like a fire in my belly. So I went in silent, not knowing what I was doing. I really didn't. I knew what I wanted for the guest. And still to this day, that integrity stands. So I really do believe I was put on this purpose to serve. So if you ask me about me, I can't give you, I have 3 children. I was married 27 years. I'm divorced. I have a partner. I live in Florida. I mean, big deal. But what's my mission is who I am.
Well, making that mission is what separates you from everybody else. And I think that's the uniqueness of what you're doing, not only you personally, but what you're doing at the retreat. You touched on some of the things with the retreat, but tell our audience a little bit more of some of the things they could expect if they go there, and what they could be looking forward to while they're on your property.
Well, it's funny. A lot of people who come say they don't know why they chose this place. It called to them. I would say 9 out of 10 people say that to me.
Wow.
And I said, how did you find me? And like, it found me. And I said, that's funny because the property found me. I didn't find
Mm.
it. So I think this is a very powerful mountain. And we know that it's covered in, we know that we're on a crystal base because when we dig up the garden and stuff, big chunks of quartz come out. And so we
Wow.
know that we're on a crystal mountain. And I believe that this mountain calls to people. And when you land, it's palpable. The energy is palpable. So sure, you do yoga, you eat good food, you hike on the mountain, you get world-class spa treatments, all that. But what changes it is, I think, the vibration, honestly,
Hmm.
of the crystals.
Yep.
That don't want to sound so esoteric, but it's true. And my staff,
Yeah.
because the people who have been with me for a long time have felt the change that the crystals cause, and they've evolved and they've grown and they've changed. And so when people come there, they just get this big giant hug. And we all know that, in spite of our mothers and issues we have with our mothers, going home to mom, that feeling of going
Yeah.
home and being cared for is
Hmm.
is the feeling that you get when you're there. And it's like you don't have to worry about a thing. You don't have to ask for anything. It
Wow.
just it's like it's intuitive. And so the way the food's prepared, the way everything's set up for you, a lot of people come in there. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot. Some people come in there and they're a little, tightly wound, and they've got their demands and they got A personalities. But by the
Yeah.
time they leave, they're just like, oh, I can come back. I feel so good when I'm here.
That's amazing. When people go to visit the property, what's the average stay normally?
The average stay currently is around 6 days. It oscillates. Sometimes we're 7, sometimes we're 5. It really depends on, kind of the rhythm of the year.
Yeah.
Uh, but right now we're about 6.5 days. The thing is that to fully unwind doesn't happen until day 4. And I
Got
try to
it.
tell people I've seen a cycle where people come in, they're like, I want to go to the volcano, I want to go to the beach, I want to go here, I want to take a car, I want to go do that. And then by the day 3, they're like, could you cancel can you cancel that? And then could you book me a massage, please? And
Yeah.
day 4, they're like, I'm not, I'm just flowing. I'm just flowing.
Yeah.
So you have there is a life cycle to relaxation and rejuvenation, and you have to go through it. If you cut it short, you're like half baked.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point. A lot of people don't understand that when they go on vacation, sometimes they come back more stressed after the vacation.
Oh yeah, let's go here. Let's make sure we make this reservation. I want to hit that thing. I don't, thank God. I find a hotel, I plop in it, I stay. I need a cozy bed, I need good food, and then I meander around. You
Yeah.
know, there's no meandering around in the area that we are. The area is actually meanderable because we have a boutique and we have 2 restaurants and we have 2 pools, and we're building now a clubhouse and 10
Wow.
more rooms. We're on a crystal mountain that has 60 acres. You could walk and swing on trees and go down to
Wow.
the riverbeds. I mean, it's quite spectacular.
It sounds amazing. I can't wait to make it out there and see that firsthand. I mean, I looked at the website for sure, and it's just amazing. I could see where you're getting the calling from because you just look at the site and it's just beautiful.
It is really, yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff. As we switch, I'm going to go from talking a little bit about the retreat to talking a little bit about some of the things you like to do from a travel perspective. Obviously, you're in the travel business. What are some of your favorite destinations that you've actually been to?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny because I'm going on a few trips this year. Last year I didn't travel much except for work, and it was only in the US, and I was like, this is not right. I'm not right. Something's off. I love Greece. I love Greece. And I think it's because I'm, from the Mediterranean. It's my culture. I just
Yep.
feel so at home there. I love anything that's raw. I'm going to Bali in October. India. I really like the raw places that aren't,
Mhm.
I just want to see the culture. I want to see it in its fullness.
Wow.
Who doesn't love Europe, right?
Yep.
Any place in Europe is fantastic, but I even like the cities in Europe because I think the cities are more authentic than going to the beaches. It
Sure.
really depends. I think it's mood based. I went to Tel Aviv a couple years ago. That was pretty phenomenal. I know people love Tel Aviv. I didn't love it. I was in the city, so
Sure.
sometimes people will send you places that you're like, oh, this is the best, and you
Yeah.
go and you're like,
Eh,
Singapore. It was,
sure.
I was okay with it. But then, oh my gosh, then you go to Indonesia and it's just so raw. I
Oh,
don't know. I must be a hippie of some sort because I just love it. You know, the less I have to do with this and just
sure.
walk around sweating and eating off the streets, I'm so happy.
You're so happy. So those are some of the places you've been. Anything on your bucket list that you want to get to?
You know, it's funny. You kind of mentioned that earlier, and I was like, I don't know yet. I don't know until I know.
Yeah.
You know, I went to China before, you know, the craziness, and it was super cool. And I felt like China has some really untouched areas that I
Mhm.
would love to explore. You know, when you see those cliffs and stuff. So I don't know what I don't know yet. You know, I that's the truth. If it's on my bucket list, it's already happened.
Well, that's a very honest answer. One I've never heard from my guest.
Really?
So yeah, you're very unique in your in your response. But that's very true. I mean, like you said, you don't know what you don't know, and I think it kind of goes back to what you're talking about with the retreat and it calling people. That's kind of a good way of looking at life in general with what you're doing is sometimes those moments in our lives, those seasons in our lives just call us certain places if we're open to it. And like I told you earlier off screen, I'm a coach as well, and so I really am big into manifestation but also intentionality in what you're doing. And it sounds like you are as well.
Well, there's this beautiful prayer that I got from A Course in Miracles, and it's not a religious prayer. It's the prayer is about releasing your mind,
Mhm.
and when you release and surrender your mind, everything flows to you.
Yep.
And so I say, listen, I'll go wherever. If it comes up, I go, and then I go, wow, I didn't expect this to be so amazing. Because expectations, right?
Mhm.
We have expectations, and fantasy is better than reality. So it's better
Yeah.
to just kind of go, I have no idea what I'm embarking on, but let's see.
Oh yeah, that's impressive. I love that. That's going to be a good tidbit for all of our guests to be listening to this. That'll be one of the takeaways right there. This is amazing. We got a few minutes left. Tell me a little bit about anything regarding the retreat you want to touch on, or where's the best place or way for people to find you guys?
Well, the retreat Costa Rica, obviously, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook. It's also the website is the retreat Costa Rica, which is great SEOs, by the way. You know, I'd
Yes,
like to go to a retreat in Costa Rica. Well, here you are.
there you go. It's almost like the hotel guide.
Everything we do, basically, our marketing is word of mouth. It's phenomenal that people spread it. But also me, Diana Stobo. I'm sort of the umbrella brand. I'm the one who I'm the mind
Mhm.
of everything, the mastermind, I should say. And so if what I believe in, I like to talk about, and so that shows up in my businesses as well. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, well that's an amazing thing. I'm gonna throw a question that was off script that we want. Give me give me the retreat in one word. What one word would best describe it?
One word.
Or phrase?
I don't. It's magic.
Magic.
It's magic because whatever it's a blank canvas to create the world you want to live in.
Nice. I love it. I hadn't asked any of my guests that yet from any of their other, so but I felt that was appropriate to ask you and what you're doing over there in Costa Rica.
It is unique. It's unique to be able to just go and go. Let's see what happens.
Well, it is. I mean, I think a lot of people nowadays when they travel, you travel to escape. But I think a lot of our guests and a lot of our readers don't attain that.
Yeah,
And they just go. And it's almost like, hey, I checked off my list. I went to Iceland or I went to, Italy. But what was the emotional connection? What was that experience like? So it's about making those memories. Like that's our tagline, travel and you'll make memories and
the
kind of
last
thing.
time I was there, this woman walked up to me and she acted as if we were best friends. And she says, "You changed my life." And I said, "Me? What did I do?" And she goes, "I came here when I had just lost a baby. I just got through a big breakup
Mhm.
and I really wanted to end my life." And she says,
Wow.
"I came here and something happened, something switched." And she says, "I ended up going home, meeting this man." She shows me her fiance. She says, "We're getting married next weekend." And I told him, "I will not marry you until you come to the retreat and see and feel the magic. And if you don't feel it, we're not meant to be together."
Wow.
I just got chills. She freaked me out. I was like, I was catatonic. and they sent me wedding photos and everything. He bought the bedding. He's like, "Can I buy the bedding?" He goes, "I want everything that's there because this is the best place I've ever
I
been."
want to take it with me. Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story right there. And I'm sure you have a myriad
I have
more of
possibilities.
those.
Yeah.
As always, 15 minutes goes by way too
Way
fast.
too fast.
But I love your passion. I love your zeal. I love what you stand for. So I have a feeling this will not be the last time that you and I are chatting on the podcast. Because I know just from the book side, from the raw foods, that wellness side, that's a whole nother ballgame that we could be talking about. So I'm excited about forging that relationship and kind of going in that direction as well. So, Diane, I want to thank you for being on Travel Talk today. Hope you enjoyed your time being here.
Edward, thank you so much. I did. Have a
Well,
great
to all, oh, perfect. Thank you. And to all our guests, to all our readers, please like, please subscribe, please go to thehotelguide.com. And understand too, this is about making memories and everything that you do. Be intentional. Take some of Diana's message, and hopefully you live that out on your, not only on your vacations, but in your daily lives. But until next time, everybody take care, and we'll talk soon.